Crystal of Atlan is a pay-to-win game. You're probably looking at the title, listening to these first words and thinking, well, could you have said anything more obvious? I say this because I feel like it's something that gets forgotten when we look at what's coming up for the game overall. So, let's talk about it. Yo, what is up, my fellow weebs? Skarner here, and welcome back to the channel. So recently, the Taiwanese Facebook page released the patch notes that are scheduled for July, basically an overhaul and some upgrades or updates that are coming out to the game itself. And with our good friend, the AI robots, we have translated the patch notes fully to see what's on the horizon. And one thing that popped up that most of us were not expecting to see so soon are the circuits. These are the eternal circuits. Now, these popped up over on CN. And it's worth mentioning that the global versus CN client of the game is very strange right now. It's obvious they're trying to essentially catch global up to where CN is to have just one patch cycle. And while others will say, you know, that it can be a bit of a problem or something along those lines, I'm actually very excited for that, because part of why it's fun to play games like this is discovery. And when you already know everything that's going to happen, it really kind of sucks. So there's really not much of an excitement or a surprise, though on the opposite hand, knowing what's coming means you can plan substantially better. In a game like this, where, like I said, is pay to win, it's much more difficult for you to be prepared for these things. So why are we talking about this? Why am I saying this stuff? Like, what's going on here? What the heck is eternal circuits, and so on and so forth? So to get a better understanding of what we're looking at here, eternal circuits, essentially, if we go over here, look at our circuits, is essentially over-leveled circuits. Circuits go up to level 20 right now, and past level 20, you'll be able to do something like, kind of like a breakthrough for the circuits at individual levels. They'll go to 22, I believe 24, 27, and then 30. And when you level them up to those max levels, basically you do like a breakthrough, and you level them up, and breakthrough, level them up, they'll get an extra line of stats. Now, it's not the stats we have currently here. I mean, some of them will be, but realistically, I could sit there and explain every single stat it has, but only one of them really matters, and it's circuit damage. Circuit damage is the most important stat you can get on these circuits. Now, why is this important? Why am I bringing up, you know, of course, pay to win and all this other stuff? Is because it is fairly expensive for you to invest in upgrading these circuits. It's going to cost you a chunk of money to, of course, unlock the circuit itself and then upgrade it. Now, across the entire process of upgrading a circuit from like 20 to 30, you're looking at a roughly about 4 mil, okay? Which doesn't sound that bad, but when you think about it, it's working on the RNG that you get good circuit lines. And realistically, the only circuit line you're looking for is circuit damage. Not sure if that's the exact translation. You gotta work with me here. The translation's a bit rough. I can go over to the end and show you, but realistically, it's just like an orange line and it's circuit damage. It's very straightforward. It's very simple. Everything else kind of doesn't really matter, to the point where it's gonna bring up the second thing we're talking about over on CN. Any other circuit's not really worth anything. When I say worth anything, that brings up the second part of the whole eternal circuit upgrade, is they will be sellable, meaning you can put them in the market. Now, they're not going to be sellable for gold. They're going to be sellable for prismatium / opals. Now, I don't know, the way that it shows on CN shows prismatium / opals, meaning you don't have to just use prismatium or opals to buy them. You can also use prismatium. Usually a system like that, if you can only use opals, you would see, if you actually take a look at co-assignment, you can see it here at the very top, it only shows opals. You can't use anything else to purchase these, it's just opals. But in the system over on CN, and I'll try to maybe get a screenshot so you guys can see what it looks like, but you go down to the bottom here and it shows opal / prismatium that you can purchase. And realistically, the only ones that are selling for a reasonable amount are ones that have that circuit damage on them. So again, we come back to the question, why are we bringing this up this way? Why are we talking about this? Well, something to remember about Crystal of Atlan is it is in the genre of pay-to-win games. This does come from a time frame, I won't say a time frame, but it's more of a culture where games are looked at a bit differently. People will argue that, oh, it's just to milk the player base, get as much money out of them as they can. But overseas, a lot of times, especially on the CN culture and on the JP culture, they have a thing where it's like you're trading time for money. Essentially, the more time you have, the less money that you need to invest. The more money you have, the less time you need to invest. So a lot of times people will use this as a pay to get ahead, so on and so forth. I kind of like cut through all of the BS I don't really want to sugarcoat things. So it's just flat out pay to win. You can invest in, or you can inject money and get out power. It's that simple, that's straightforward. That's just how the routes you go through to do that is up to you. There are guaranteed ways, there are RNG ways, there are trading ways, so on and so forth in different games and all that stuff. But just keep it simple. Pay to win, inject money, get power out. That's simple. Now, the reason I bring this up is because I'm not the first person reporting on this. This has already actually been reported on. It's been out for like a day or two now. But what I'm seeing a lot of is like people being really upset. They're like, oh my God, they're just trying to squeeze every dollar they can out of the global community. They're just trying to take as much money as they possibly can. And I'm going to be 100% with you guys. I'm going to keep it a buck. This only squeezes whales. The people that are already spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on the game are the ones that are going to be squeezed. Realistically, this is a massive win for free to play and mid-spending players. Because what this does is it gives you another avenue to make Prismatium to then turn into the pulls that we need for things when you're not spending infinite amount of money, or when you need to save your gold and you can't turn that into Prismatium. This can be turned into Prismatium and you're able to make money off of that. You also have an avenue for all those circuits you might have rolled that are really good for some class, but not really great for you. You might be able to, like, let's say roll an extra line and it's not fantastic, right? It's not going to give you a whole bunch of money, but maybe it'll go up and someone will snatch it. Maybe a whale will snatch it and like, you know what? I've got the gold. I'll try to roll it and see if I get something good out of it, right? Because realistically, the circuits you're rolling, once they become eternal circuits, they can be sold, meaning that you can unlock the circuit. You can, like, say maybe try to roll a line on it. It doesn't roll something that you need, right? Maybe it's not a circuit that you need. You can then take that circuit and sell it to someone else, someone who has money to go ahead and invest in it, someone who has that extra gold. You get the Prismatium out of the deal, so you do get a value out of it because Prismatium does have a direct gold transfer if you think about how to use it properly. Or, of course, your gold has a direct Prismatium transfer. We'll talk about that. I've talked about that plenty of times. If you're ever curious about that, you're welcome to join Discord, ask questions about that, or join the stream and ask questions about it there, or wait until I make inevitably another video talking about it as I have previously. But it's an avenue for you to then gain currency for investing in a smart way. Now, I'm not gonna, again, no BS. This is going to wreck whales. They're going to have to invest a lot of money. Over on CN, some of the best circuits are like upwards of 2,000 to like 7,000 opals. It's insane. However, this does also give the opportunity to someone who doesn't have that kind of money that might get kind of lucky to be able to then get that currency out of the player. So while this is something that is going to be a concern for, of course, the mid to high end or the high end or whales, for the mid end players, for the low spenders, for the free to play players, this is a huge win. This is a massive W to be able to take care of things like pulling new pets that are coming out, pulling outfits that are coming out. Like CN has already gotten, like right now we have this Welkin outfit, which I have fully stopped pulling on. I did pull on this. I actually got the helmet for it. And then CN, by the time I got the helmet for this outfit, CN had a new version of this come out. Same thing, same style of pulling. They had a new version of it come out. And then at the time of the video I'm recording right now, they also are releasing an upgraded version of that outfit. Just much like this has an upgraded version. Actually, we can go look at, okay, Soup actually has a normal name for once. Thank you, Soup. So there's an upgraded version of this outfit. So like, this is really cool. This is extremely expensive. The reason I mentioned, like, you know, the game is pay to win, is because I want to remind people that, yeah, this is a pay to win game. They're going to try to get as much money out of you as possible because they want to take advantage of those who don't have the time. Now, granted, there's an argument to be said about how much time should things specifically take, or of course, the barometer of pay to win back and forth, but that's not what we're here to talk about. What we're here to talk about is, one, the reality of this new system that we're getting with the eternal circuits, and two, the conversation of how many times does someone have to tell you the stove is hot before you stop touching it and saying, ow, the stove burned me, it's hot, right? Like, it's not to say that anything is excusable or you shouldn't talk about things realistically. When it comes down to pay to win, in reality, it's a barometer. It's what's acceptable versus what's not acceptable, how far things go versus how far they don't go. But when I look at things as far as a content creator goes, I try to look at them a bit more objectively and outside of my own personal viewpoint. For myself, and this is just, again, we want to make sure we keep it 100% with you guys, make it clear, I am not a free-to-play player. I have invested money in the game. I've had others invest money in my account. I've had fellow viewers invest money into my account as well. And as a content creator, honestly, I don't even know if I'm supposed to tell you guys this thing. I don't know if people have been, I really don't know how people deal with this because I haven't seen any rules against it or whatever, but as a content creator, we do get benefits that go towards in-game currency for us to be able to use in-game. So like, it does also help. So you guys supporting my content does help me push my character forward so I can get to things faster, to be able to test things for you guys and get things done. So first off, you're watching this video, thank you very much. Or if you really don't like a specific creator or anything along those lines, don't interact with their videos. By doing anything, you're helping them. Even watching the video, even if you don't say anything, even if you say something to try to hurt them, you're still helping them. So like, just run away. I'm not even trying to be like, oh, don't start any problems. I mean, like, legitimately, you're helping them. Stop it. If that's what you're trying to do, right? If you don't want to help these people, then just stop, right? But either way, I digress. When it comes down to it, we are playing a pay-to-win game. You're probably thinking to yourself, like, why do people play games like this? Like, if you don't have the money, why even invest? Is Crystal of Atlan really even fun if you don't have money for it? For some people, it's about, you know, the combat is worth it for them, even if they can't put in that extra bit of money overall towards the game itself. For others, it's enjoyable to see how far you can get on a free-to-play player or a free-to-play character with using every aspect of the game that's available to see, you know, how well you match up against someone else who does have access to that money. I will tell you, as someone who hasn't, like, and it probably doesn't seem like a whole lot for you guys. I think maybe my account has, I want to say, about $1,000 spent on it at this point, roughly. And that's across the entire year that I've played. And again, I 100% with you guys, it's at 87,000 points. So is what I have so far in here. So about $1,000 overall spent on this account itself. We have one cat pet, I think, right? Yeah, the cat pet, it's probably a little bit more than that. Yeah, no, because the cat pet's about $800. And I'm actually about to hit my second one, so hey, we're climbing up there, maybe over a bit over $1,000. But regardless of the fact of the matter is, this is not a free-to-play account itself, right? But I have had times where you have a lot of currency and you feel like you're kind of whaling, and it feels good to upgrade your character. Granted, of course, there's the RNG, the Gamba mechanics, and all those things that are in between that. Of course, they're trying to get your money out of things, which is why I've always said whenever we talk about certain things, like, hey, be careful. They are trying to get your money. Yes. They are trying to get your money. Part of this is time versus money investment. Now, on some situations, it does go a little overboard, and we do want to call those things out, right? Like in the case of the Nier event, realistically speaking, there should have been an option for a free-to-play version of that mount. Making it only a top-up bonus was a massive L in my opinion. Did I get that same mount? Yes, I did. I was mostly due to your guys' help, but yes, we got the mount itself. Was I happy it was a top-up mount? No, not really. But that's the thing. I'm not surprised. I'm not freaking out, nor am I upset, because I understand what game we're playing. I get where we are, so I'm expecting these sorts of things to exist. Them releasing this new system, are they really trying to squeeze everything out of us? Not really, no. Depending on how you look at things. Are they trying to squeeze whales? Yeah, a little bit. Let's be real. A lot of whales that have spent money in the game itself and they're built up really, really high, they have nothing else to do. Like, if I'm on the Crystal of Atlan team and I'm looking at Souped, sitting at plus 25 everything, all of his stuff maxed out, literally has everything, I'm thinking to myself, what else can we do to get something out of this guy? Because it's obvious he will put the money in to get the strongest character possible. And it's not even just Souped. Other players on other servers will put the money in to get the strongest characters possible. Like, it's not just him. There are other characters around. There's more plus 25s. Like, this is expensive, very, very expensive. So Lamar, plus 25 as well. Like, it's not a new thing. People will put tons of money into the game to be able to get as much power as they can out of it because they have the ability to do so. They have the funds to do so. They can make that decision as an adult. And yeah, if you get to that point, part of it, what you're thinking of is, what can we do to keep them spending money in a reasonable amount? That's going to be part of it. This, it's a little of both. It's a both side situation. So I wanted to make a video kind of just giving my thoughts on it, talking about it, giving another perspective and letting people know that it's not all doom and gloom. This is actually going to be a good thing for a vast majority of you out there. Though my top 1%ers, top 2%ers, my homies out there, even those in my own fleet, You guys are about to get your wallets run through. I'm just gonna be real with you. It's gonna be rough. It is gonna hurt, but hopefully some of you guys are lucky and you will have things go well for you. Does any of this really matter in the grand scheme of things? Not really. Like, at the end of the day, unless you were top 1% pushing the hardest content possible with the strongest characters, you're not reaching those guys anyway. So don't break yourself over trying to figure out if you can afford this or get this, that, and the other. Build your character at your pace, get as much as you can get out of the game itself. And when you stop having fun, man, stop spending, stop playing, stop investing. Your time is also important. You should be having fun. You should be enjoying yourself. And it's not to say that you shouldn't express how you feel about something. But again, understand, if I tell you the stove is hot and your response to me is the stove shouldn't still be hot, it's been 5 minutes. And I tell you, hey, look, I hear you and you're right, but the stove is hot right now, so don't touch it. And then you touch the stove, you burn your hand and you tell me the stove was hot. Why is it still hot? It's not supposed to be hot yet. There's only so much I can do for you at that point. Makes sense? Anyway, keep an eye out for that update that is scheduled for July. Be ready. Hopefully you're lucky. Maybe start keeping some of those circuits that roll pretty well, even if they're not for your class specifically. Maybe take a look at some of those circuits you have on alts. Maybe a little bit of investment might actually go a long way for you. And you might be able to make some extra money on the side, because the reality is early on, guys, people are going to be rolling circuits a lot. They're going to be trying to look for those god tier circuits, and you might be able to sneak away with some money or some extra prismatium or whatever it happens to be just by unlocking a circuit that's actually really good already, and being able to go ahead and use that circuit itself and let someone else deal with the RNG of the matter. That's it. That's all I want to talk to you guys about. Hopefully that covers that entire process for you. If there's anything I missed, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I do tend to yap a lot, so I apologize if I yapped a little too long. Let me know what you guys think of the circuits coming up. Are you excited? Are you concerned? Is your wallet shaking, or are you about to milk these whales for everything that they have when it comes down to their gold and their prismatium? Like everyone is thinking the entire game is about to be. Either way, take care, my friends. Peace out.